Right, just a brief description of what a leather Goodyear storm welt is, what it does and when we need to replace it. So here's a pair of bespoke shoes that are currently being made and they're with me to fit the bottom on. Now the welt itself is this thin bit of leather. We buy it on a huge hank and it comes meters and meters and meters. It has a small groove in it, ready to take the stitches. It sits on the side of the shoe and it stitches the welt through the upper, the lining and the footbed, and it holds the whole lot together, and it's the basic structure of your foot. Now when the sole's on, we stitch through the welt, through the leather sole, giving you a perfect bond, mechanical stitch as well as the adhesive as well. Right, when do we need to replace it? Because obviously these are replaceable and they do wear out. There's several reasons that we need to replace them. One of them is either, see, this is a good welt, it's got loads of space, I've got loads of room to put stitches in for the new sole. But as we can see on this one, some of the welt stitches have actually given way. So there's a possibility this may need replacing. Now I'm not sure if you can see right in there, but where them stitches go in the welt, just there, you can see that the welt itself is fine, the stitch is gone. So there's a really good possibility that we could just replace these stitches and leave the original welt in place, which obviously saves time, therefore saves money. But if we just quickly examine the rest of the boot, the rest of it looks fine on both of them. We've got a few stitches broken there, so when the sole's off I'll have a better look and that will tell me whether I've got to replace it, whether it's worth replacing it, or whether we can just simply tie it back in. The next issue we have is general wear and tear. Now some people like to kick their toes, and as you can see there's not enough space around the welt to get a new row of stitches back in there, especially around the toe. It's actually gone. So this will definitely need a new welt because there's not enough to put on the machine to put a row of stitches to stitch the new sole on. So there's that, general wear and tear, toe kickers. The other thing we see is this is an aftermarket sole that's been repaired by somebody else, and when they've stitched it they've actually missed the welt and they've stitched just underneath it, but in doing so they've actually torn up the welt in there. So another row of stitches, again there's not enough welt there to get the stitches on, so that also will need a new welt. Now if it's got this much welt and you can see the original stitches, generally we can reuse it, but if the toe's worn or if there's damage to the welt, there's a high chance that we're going to need to replace it. Now I hope that makes sense. We don't like changing the welts because we like to keep them original, but they are replaceable and it is a service that we offer.